Hey, what's going on everybody? Roger's Base here with my review of One Piece Manga Chapter 874, King Baum. And I gotta say, I am really shocked at the reaction to this chapter online. I did my live reaction earlier this morning. I uploaded it and I expected a lot of people to be laughing alongside me and really enjoying the chapter. And it seems like this chapter has the community really split down the middle. Some people really enjoyed it and some people really hated it, did not like this chapter at all. And I'm shocked. I'm like, how could you totally have hated this chapter? I really want to know what your thoughts are down in the comments below, because I thought this was a really funny chapter. I thought there was great action. I thoroughly enjoyed all the Nami and Zeus stuff. I liked the setup for things that are going to be happening near the end of the arc. And I love the ending. I think the ending was really good. And I think it's up for debate whether or not Pudding is actually good now or Pudding is still acting. I know a lot of people are saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. But I really feel like Pudding is essentially good this time around because of the very last panel of this chapter where we see that her third eye is crying. We did not see that the last time that she was acting. We saw her bangs were covering up that third eye, and now this time not only is that third eye crying, but Oda specifically wrote on that page that her third eye is telling the truth, meaning that she's not acting anymore. And I know she's supposed to be this really good actress, but I really think she does care for Sanji now. I think his words back during the wedding really affected her, and I think you could tell Chiffon is obviously grown up with Pudding. She knows what Pudding is like. I'm sure Chiffon would be able to tell whether or not Pudding was lying, and I know some of the other characters were like, oh my god, evil Pudding's coming out, this side of her's crazy during last chapter, but I really do think that she's telling the truth at the end of this chapter, and I'm going to sort of adjust the theory that I said last week that Sanji was going to be the one to cook the cake and not Pudding and Chiffon. I do think that Pudding and Chiffon want to bake the cake to now help Sanji, but I do feel like, considering Sanji is this world-renowned chef and is a character who is obviously important to this arc and still needs a pretty big win, I do think that Sanji, Pudding, and Chiffon are going to come together to make the wedding cake that is going to calm Big Mom down. With that being said, I thought the Big Mom action sequences during this chapter were also really good. I enjoy seeing Big Mom going in against the Straw Hats. I thought all of that stuff was awesome, where she was doing that foreign attack, where she would sort of charge up her sword, and then first off, the first attack was called Elbaf's Spear, and then Luffy was like, oh my god, Elbaf, like the Island of the Giants, what's going on here? And then I realized, duh, these characters don't know that she spent time on Elbaf. That's something that we, as readers, know because of the flashback, but the main characters in the Straw Hat crew didn't know that. So that was really cool to see Luffy say that. And then when she goes in, charges up, and does that foreign attack on King Baum, who, by the way, should absolutely be dead now. First, earlier in this arc, he was bisected. Then he was stitched back together by his lady, girlfriend, wife, fiance, tree, whatever. Then this chapter, Big Mom does the foreign attack on him, blows away half of his face, Whitebeard style, and then, after all of that, he's still running with the Straw Hats on his back. Prometheus comes down with that massive sun drop attack during this chapter, and it looks as though King Baum has finally been eviscerated. But I actually don't know yet. I think this is One Piece, and we never really know if someone dies until we see the corpse. And even in the corpse case with King Baum, earlier this arc, we saw his corpse lying there split in two, and yet he still managed to come back to life. So I'm curious what's going on there, and I wonder if King Baum is actually dead after that final attack from Prometheus. And I gotta say, I love that that attack was the way this whole seducing woods thing was sort of all wrapped up, because who would have imagined that the sun would drop from the sky, Majora's Mask style? I know it was the moon in that game, but it's the sun in this case. Drops from the sky, Majora's Mask style, and would incinerate the entire woods. And there were so many moments in that seducing woods part that I really enjoyed, like when Big Mom says, seducing woods, go in charge of the Straw Hats, and King Baum is still supposed to be in charge of the seducing woods. They're not listening to him, they're listening to Big Mom. All these weird, flowers and trees start coming to life, and they're all going after them. And then King Baum, like a boss, starts wrecking through the woods because he thinks of his lady tree girlfriend. I really enjoyed that scene, and then again, to see it all sort of climax with the giant sun drop attack, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, going on to some of the other things that people aren't really talking about in regards to this chapter, that little bit with Katakuri waiting on the Thousand Sunny, I think is extremely important, because I do think that actually sets up what is going to be the final confrontation of this arc. I think a lot of people don't necessarily think that Luffy is going to have a one-on-one attack with Big Mom, just due to the fact that we could see during this chapter, it's taking all of the Straw Hats to just barely hold her off. And even then, it takes Nami trying to get Zeus away from her, plus King Baum on their side. Like, they need all the help that they can get. They cannot take Big Mom one-on-one. Luffy can maybe throw one punch at her like he did a couple chapters ago, but he cannot fight her directly. And he's going to need to take down somebody at the end of this arc. Every arc ends with, you know, a pretty big fight. They can't just escape without taking out anybody, and I do think that a Luffy versus Katakuri fight is imminent. Again, we saw Katakuri fighting with Luffy and Jinbei and Pedro and Beige all together like 10 or 12 chapters ago back during the wedding, but I really do think like that would be a really huge achievement for Luffy if he ends up taking out the main commander and the one character who really has been doing anything this arc. So many of their children are lying. We had Opera lying about actually taking out Luffy and Nami. We had all these other characters pretending like they were doing something, and then at the end of the day, like they ended up either working with the Straw Hats like Brûlé or failing at their one job. But like even Smoothie, we haven't really seen Smoothie do anything yet. She's the one commander that I still feel is kind of up in the air. But Katakuri in particular has really been putting in work, and I think that's why so many people like him as a character. You guys know I love Katakuri. I cosplayed as Katakuri. And yeah, I really think that the final fight of this arc now is going to be Luffy versus Katakuri on the back of the Thousand Sunny while they're trying to escape. That would be an awesome final fight, and I think a lot of people want to see it. And maybe that's where Luffy is going to sort of hone his observation haki, because at this point, we know that Katakuri has the best trained observation haki of anyone we've seen in the series, because he could see a little bit into the future. Now, mind you, that didn't do a lot of good against Sanji when Sanji dodged his jelly bean during the wedding, but I still feel like if Luffy ends up going one-on-one against Katakuri, maybe that will be his opportunity to sort of unlock that within himself, because I still don't necessarily think he's going to unlock Gear 5 or his Devil Fruit Awakening by the end of this arc, but he does still need a little bit of a power boost if he wants to escape without losing any of his crewmates, and I do think that maybe that upgrade to his observation haki through a fight with Katakuri could be how he does that. Jumping back to the stuff in the Seducing Woods, I just barely touched on the stuff with Nami and Zeus, and that was easily my favorite part of the chapter this week. All the bits were not... Also, it makes perfect sense. Like, how did I not think of this? Of course Nami at some point is going to control Zeus. I think the reason I didn't think about it was because I thought her Viver card was taken away after that Luffy versus Sanji confrontation. So I just assumed she couldn't control the homies anymore. But then after last chapter, where she said, oh yeah, I can control them, I split the Viver card in two, of course, I should have predicted that she was going to be able to control Zeus for a little bit, because she controls the weather. Half of her attacks are thunderbolt tempos and creating rain clouds. Of course she's going to control Zeus. And during this chapter, I thought that whole bit was so funny when she shot the little black balls out of the climb attack, and then you've got Zeus floating around going, give me more of these black balls. I love these black balls in my mouth. Pause, by the way, Zeus. But I really loved that bit. And now it seems like Zeus is once again on the side of the Straw Hats, just because he was coaxed away from Big Mom with the promise of more yummy little black balls, which I'm going to stop saying black balls now. I think I've said black balls too much during this review. But I really liked seeing Zeus actually come into his own, and I loved all those weird little quirky faces that Zeus was making too. He had these cute little like, really, I get more candy from you, Nami? You're wonderful. And yeah, I like Zeus. Zeus for Straw Hat. I'm kidding. Don't go crazy at me in the comments, but I do think that Zeus is funny, and hopefully this isn't the end we've seen of him. I know that Prometheus attack looked pretty bad, and it looks like all the homies were basically wiped out after that attack, but hopefully we see more of Zeus next chapter. I really want to see, like, Luffy on the back of Zeus. He even mentioned during this chapter, he's like, oh, can I ride you? Can I get in your back? And he's like, no, only Mama will be able to do that. And then I imagined, okay, well, Nami will be able to do that now because she can control Zeus, but I would love to see Luffy ride in the back of Zeus, Nimbus style, like from Dragon Ball, and end up fighting Big Mom. That would be really cool. But now Big Mom doesn't have Zeus anymore. Prometheus, I'm assuming, is probably going to be pretty tired after that attack. It looked like he just dropped a meteor from the sky. It was crazy. I know it wasn't a meteor, it was just his sun expanding, but I'm saying that's what it looked like. And yeah, Napoleon, I guess, was part of that blast, right? Napoleon was in Big Mom's hands, so I'm curious what's going to go down with that and how the other homies are going to make it out of that situation alive. I don't know. We'll see. But again, I really did like the Nami and Zeus bits. I'm very excited about the possibility of a Luffy versus Katakuri fight now that Katakuri is waiting for them in the Thousand Sunny. And again, that ending sequence with Pudding, I actually do believe that Pudding is good now. And you guys can let me know in the comments below, debate me, give your reasoning as to why you think Pudding actually isn't, and she's acting once again. I really do feel like she was affected by Sanji's words, and that's why she's going to help along. But I also got to say, shout-outs to my boy Beige during this chapter, who's like, no, we dealt with you already. I don't care if you're a little girl. You're getting shot in the face. Like, Beige for MVP. Capone has been so cool during this arc, and it's cool to see a little bit more of him, because I really don't want to see the Fire Tank Pirates disappear after this arc. I've mentioned this in other videos before. I do think the Fire Tank Pirates will probably follow the Straw Hats to Wano country because I think all the supernovas are going to need to be there in Wano to take on Kaido. And I don't know, I've learned to really love Capone as a character. I like him as an ally of the Straw Hats. I like the people on his crew. I even like Chiffon now. Wasn't really a huge fan of her in the beginning. I like Chiffon now and Vito and Gotti, all of them. So I hope we see more of them in the future. But I think that covers it for this chapter. I really enjoyed this one. And again, I'm shocked that people did not. I thought the art was really good. I thought it was quirky. It was funny. There was great action sequences. And I think it set up for some really exciting bits towards the finale of the arc. But again, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Leave a like on this video if you liked anything I had to say, and please be sure to subscribe because I bring you guys reviews about the anime and manga of One Piece every single week. And if you haven't already, make sure to enter my One Piece 20 for 20 giveaway. There will be a link to that down in the comments below. I'm giving away a mystery box of One Piece stuff for the 20th anniversary of One Piece. Most of you guys probably already know it by now, but I wanted to bring it up in this manga review because I actually don't think I've done that yet. I think I only brought it up in my anime reviews. Also, I have to talk about this because a lot of you guys probably already saw that Brook video I did where I was upset that he didn't make the character poll, and obviously instead of a cover story this week, we had the results of the 6th popularity poll. I'm going to hold off my thoughts on that until Sunday because I have a lot of things I want to discuss in terms of the Japanese fan base and why they like certain characters over other characters, why Brook didn't make it into the top 10. There's a lot of stuff I want to dissect, and I think that's worthy of having a whole separate video, so I'm not going to talk about any of that in this review, and I didn't talk about any of it in my live reaction as well. Look forward to that video on Sunday. I'm actually really excited to record it. Should be a lot of fun, and I'm going to probably look online and see what you guys thought of the character popularity poll as well. And then, of course, tomorrow is Saturday, so I'll have my regular reviews up for My Hero Academia and for One Piece. Okay, I've talked enough. I'll talk to you guys next week. Wait, is there going to be a chapter next week? I honestly don't know. I didn't see a break at the end of this week's chapter, so I'm not really sure. It didn't say we're on break, but I think there's a holiday. So let me know in the comments below if there is a break. If there is a break, I'll probably just do a My Hero Academia read-through next week. That would be a good opportunity to do it. But either way, let me know. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.